Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Gameweek 26, also known as the one that lasts 9 whole days. In tonight's show, we're discussing each upcoming Gameweek fixture from this weekend, predicting the potential key players, differentials and clean sheets. We'll talk captaincy, reveal our team's planned transfers, the Cougar Cup picks, as well as answering some of your questions because there are fewer fixtures. We'll get straight into it, I think. Geek, let's talk about Game Week 25 and your score, please.
Okay, so 58 points overall, which took me from 53k to 54k, so a 1k red arrow basically went nowhere. So, but I'll take that, I suppose. 1k red arrow is basically nothing, so all good. But yeah, basically my whole team blanked other than Liverpool players. So I had obviously Trent and Robertson at the back with 6 points each, no bonus, annoyingly. But yeah, managed to bring Salah in for Mane and captain Salah in the end. And yeah, thank God I did, because I would have had a woeful score if I didn't do that. So yeah, everyone else blanking with McCarthy 1, Sidibe 1. Mahrez and De Bruyne. Mahrez could have had another haul, I think.
Yeah, he could have, yeah.
Woeful and just missed chances for his assists. And obviously my injury threats or doubts of Vardy and Abraham both played as well. But yeah, again, both blanked. So overall, can't complain with the Salah captain, which kept me above average and didn't go too far. So all good.
What did you do with the transfers again? It was just Salah, is it?
It was just Mane to Salah. I was tempted by the Abraham to Jimenez, but I kind of figured they'd score about the same, and they did. So yeah, glad I didn't take a hit.
Have you rolled that so you've got two sort of in the bank at the minute, or are you still just rolling with one?
Just one at the moment because I used the 2 for the double game week for Liverpool. So yeah, just on one transfer at the moment.
That's all right. Well, my game week was a bit similar. So I scored 52. The big decision everyone knows from last week's show, who was I going to get in for Mane? Basically, I did in the end go for Salah after he turned it on in the second half of double game week 24. But I didn't fancy him for captain because I'm not exactly very high up, so I need to start hitting some differential captaincies. Although Salah was probably looked like the ultimate favourite. Trent had outscored him in 3 of their last home games for total points by 4. So I was thinking, okay, if I captain Trent and he gets something, then it's going to be a good game week. So that sort of second Salah goal in the 90th minute killed that differential pick really, which is a bit of a disappointment because obviously Trent picked up the clean sheet points. Pope delivered another clean sheet. He's been a little bit of a star performer for me recently. You're shaking your head, but
so annoying.
I would have just been so down if I'd got rid of him a couple of weeks ago for Ryan when I was really contemplating it, because he's just been stellar since then. I think otherwise the rest of my team blanked. Robertson got a clean sheet, but yeah, 52 points, which was above the average, but gave me a red arrow again, so I'm floundering down at, I think it's 7.15 or 7.13, so
just not your year, is it?
It's not. People have been really kind in the comments saying I'm not having any luck, which I suppose it's partly that, but I just feel like, I don't know, my team looks alright, but I feel like because it looks alright, it's really template, and I'm not just going to get anywhere unless I land some mega captaincy points now, so yeah, I just swimming, and that triple captaincy is ship has not helped.
Who are your sort of differentials in your team at the moment?
Jimenez a little bit, Grealish still.
Kind of.
I'm going to have to Stevens as well.
See, I don't think Jimenez and Grealish.
No,
Grealish has got up to 22-ish%.
Well, I'd say differentials. So they're probably my lowest picked or lowest owned players, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to probably do something with Maddison this week, but yeah, we'll talk more about our transfers at the end. Should we talk about Manager of the Week who did really well?
Oh, yes. Okay, so it's Egyptian team manager and team name. Sorry, I can't pronounce it, but in the comments, leave what it says in English if you can. But yeah, he got 93 points, which is crazy compared to our scores of in the 50s, and that is huge. So a game week rank of 2,807. So yeah, awesome. And he went from 556th overall, which is obviously still a great season, to 84th overall. So yeah, in the double figures now rather than triple or quadruple. So yeah, loving that. He obviously had Henderson with 10 points, Trent with 6, Aurier with 6, which is obviously
the luckiest 6
got a little bit lucky there, I suppose. Yeah. And obviously Snodgrass, the massive 18-point haul. Not many people own him, obviously. Salah captain with the 32, Firmino as well, who obviously got a nice haul with 11 as well. And then on his bench had Cantwell, Webster and Rashford still. So yeah, he didn't get much from there, so couldn't have gained much more. So played it perfectly this week.
Nice, yeah, that is very
well
good.
played.
Well done. In the Cubs, I forgot I'd chosen Chris Wood, but after all that positivity around him last week, a little blank.
Yeah, did expect him to do something against Arsenal, but obviously not. And obviously I picked Perez, and he blanked as well. And my other backup was Samatta. I actually did get a goal, didn't he? So bit annoyed I didn't go for that because obviously he was 0% owned. But never mind. So yeah, total wise, including the doubles, which we haven't managed to update. So I'm now on 69. Yeah. You're on 82, so you took a nice lead because Alisson got that clean sheet in the second game.
Nice.
And January wise, I'm on 20. You're on 22, so you've even taken me over in January now. So frustrating.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it was the only thing I'm winning at, so I'll take the Cubs all day long.
True.
All right, so normal fixtures. I'll bring our teams up on screen. So should we just talk about them a little bit as we head into this game week? Because we've only got 4 fixtures this weekend. So Everton, Palace, Brighton, Watford, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, and Man City at home to West Ham. So it's a bit of a light week. How are you sort of shaping up for it? I can see you've got the captaincy on Salah, like I have. You've got the vice on Daniel Ings. Who are you thinking transfer-wise at this stage?
So yeah, I've already done mine, as you can probably see with the team. So I took out Abraham for Jimenez. Our teams are getting similar again, but just don't fancy Tammy over the next few because he's got really tough fixtures. And Jimenez, he obviously doesn't blank in 28, got good fixtures, and he's been consistent, hasn't he? So yeah, happy to get him in. Should never have sold him really. I think I had him around like week 16ish, and I've just shouldn't have sold. So glad to have him back with the good fixtures coming.
Yeah, I actually brought him in. I forgot to mention that in my score. So I actually brought Jimenez in for a hit for Rashford this week, just because I fancied watching him in the game against United. And I actually thought he played quite well. Well, one of the better players. He had a really good chance, didn't he, late on in the game. So that could have gone the other way. I suppose I'll talk about my transfers more at the end, actually. Let's get into the first game of the game week. Everton against Palace. You've got Sidibe featuring in this one, but it was Mina who looked like an absolute beast, wasn't it, in the game against Watford? Those 2 goals in like a couple of minutes.
I mean, yeah, he's promised goals from set pieces for a long time, hasn't he? But he's never really sort of delivered on those goals until now, I suppose. It was like, 2 goals in about 5 minutes or something? Yeah. Anyone that owned him, which is not many, is at 2.1% owned. So anyone that did and had him in possibly their starting lineup would obviously have done very well. But yeah, since like week 20, his points have been 1, 0, 1, 2, 1, and 15, which is obviously this week. Yeah. So he's not exactly good potential, and I wouldn't say bring him in off the back of this, because although, in the World Cup, he scored in multiple games in succession, didn't he, with corners? So maybe he's on the start of a run now, but I wouldn't exactly say go for it, to be honest. And obviously their fixtures after this Crystal Palace game is Arsenal away, Man United home, Chelsea away, Liverpool at home. So 4 traditional top 6 teams in a row. But end of last season, we saw Everton keep loads of clean sheets when they had this sort of fixture run. So maybe it is the genius decision to get him in. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I actually like the Holgate as well as Mina. Holgate seems like he's been quite consistent in his attacking returns, and he's been getting in the box. But I do think
he went into midfield in the last game.
Yeah, quite like that. So he's had 2 shots in the box and 2 big chances in the last 6. Like you say, their fixtures are pretty horrific, so I wouldn't really be starting them that often, hoping for clean sheets. But yeah, those sort of attacking returns from the both of them have been really good recently. It's a shame Mina is quite expensive at 5.3.
Yeah,
if he was 5, he'd probably offer slightly more value. But like those points showed, he's not been doing much from an attacking sense this season. So a bit of a fluke game, really.
Yeah, and obviously I own Sidibe, and they've just been conceding stupid goals lately. Like they've had the good fixtures for the clean sheets, and that's why I had him as a differential. And it's just the 2 last minute goals against Newcastle, and then like conceding within the first 5 minutes or something of last week, and I was just like, oh god, that's just another player that I decided to play who's got nothing. It's just a bit annoying. But they're actually see as a team is 4.77 with 5 conceded, and that's actually 5th overall. Okay. So. That's surprising, really. I guess it's due to fixtures, but they're still conceding more than they should be. And after this Crystal Palace game, which I'm hoping to be a clean sheet. Just as a parting present, I think CDB will have to go, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, Palace have been, again, nullified at the weekend by Sheffield United in the highlights for that game. I mean, they were really low lights. The chances they had, all shots from outside. I mean, we know Sheffield United are quite compact on the road, but yeah, they really limited Palace. Palace
was Millie back in that game? Was he back this one?
I think he's back this one. Yeah,
right.
I think he was. Absent. But yeah, Palace drawn the last 3 away matches now, and the last 2 games between these two have been 0-0. So I'm sort of I think the first game of this season was one where Dean nearly got an assist. You remember that? And we were all getting quite excited about it. But I think this is the reverse of Game Week 1 fixtures, and I just remember thinking Everton looked like a good unit, a good defensive unit in that game, but it's not panned out to be quite that way. But I think they should sort of get a clean sheet in this game. Probably the most interesting thing to talk about on the Palace side of things when it comes to players is Kelly losing his position. So we thought that was going to happen the week before.
I did say, didn't I?
He'd been subbed off, and then of course he just didn't come on in this one. So like many, I think he's owned by 27% of all players, and that's the most of any Palace player too. So people have had him in their sides, and I'm sure, like me, you're probably looking to replacements really. And Holgate was one of those who I sort of highlighted as being a potential. But I think those fixtures put me off. So like you say, they got Arsenal after Palace, Man United at home, Chelsea and Liverpool. So his price has risen a little bit. He does have that goal threat, but I think you're probably maybe looking at someone like Stevens or Basham, who both have really, really great fixtures. Stevens, of course, for Southampton, 4.4, still owned by less than 3%. He's had 2 shots in the box and 1 big chance in his last 4 games. He's actually had 1 big chance created as well. And 0.4 on XG, which is the second highest of all defenders under 5 million. So yeah, he's looking a good pick.
It's the one I'd go for, I think.
The fixtures look nice as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They look really good, and they have been solid. Other than obviously that this week, and I think it was the one against Liverpool. No, that was this week, wasn't it? It was a 1 week before that or something where they conceded. Was it to City where they conceded quite a few?
Yeah,
I can't remember now.
Well,
oh no, it was Wolves where they conceded 3.
Yeah, that was right. But previously to that, they've been doing really well. I think that even in the first half of that Liverpool game, they looked like they restricted them quite well. But Liverpool just came out the block second half and blew them away. So, but I think against those lower teams, they're going to keep some clean sheets. The same with Basham and Sheffield United. So they've now got 3 home games in the next 5. They've obviously got that blank coming up. But Bournemouth, Brighton, and Norwich, and away to Newcastle, 4 of their their next 4 fixtures, I suppose, they're looking really good. What are you planning to do with Lundstrom? Because you, like I've got him.
Well, we'll talk about that later when we talk about the Sheffield United game, because I've got some stats on sort of replacements possibly for and some stats for the Sheffield United defenders. So yeah, we'll talk about that later.
All right, I like it. Last one on the Kelly replacements, because he's a little bit cheaper obviously than Lundstrom is. Probably Lascelles in at 4.2, owned by 3% as well, same amount almost as Stevens. So since he's come back in the side, he's had 2 clean sheets in the 3 games. Their fixtures are probably the trickiest out of him, Basham and Stevens. They've got Arsenal and Palace away next. Then they welcome Burnley to St James's Park, Southampton away, and then Sheffield United at home. So I think one of those 3 is probably the direction you want to go. My money has been in Stevens, so he's probably going to stay there.
I know a question on that I think we got off Twitter that we'll talk about later was Kyle Walker-Peters at Southampton as well. We assume he's going to start playing soon, and I think he's 4.4, so he could be a decent, instead of Stevens possibly, as a getting assists for Ings. I think that could happen quite often, and we need to see him start, I suppose, but he didn't go there to be on the bench, I assume. So quite like him as well.
Yeah, I like it. I think I was wrong about Milivojevic, actually. I think he did start this weekend. I've got a faint memory of seeing him in some highlights splintering around in midfield. So
I'm hoping for a 0-0 or just an Everton win, I guess, would be my
ideal. All right, Brighton against Watford. Another one on the Saturday. I think these are the only 2 Saturday fixtures. Yeah, what do you think about Brighton at the minute? It's just like, I don't know, the game against West Ham was just chaos, wasn't it, at the weekend?
They're just a bit crap right now, aren't they? Conceding for fun, not scoring that many apart from this game, I suppose. Their XG as a team is 7.2 with 5 scored, which is actually 7th overall. Is kind of a bit of a surprise. I was a bit taken aback by seeing that of them being that high on XG. It's kind of strange. But XGC of 6.1 with 8th conceded, which is middle of the table. So they're underperforming that side. They've only actually had 1 clean sheet since week 11.
Okay.
And they've, which I think is horrible, obviously. So many people got Ryan in and stuff like that, or Duncan, people like that, Webster, for, when Pope left or their teams when they had that bad run, which obviously you kept him and people got in Ryan. And people obviously woefully down on points in that scenario. And they've scored more than 1 goal only twice since week 16 as well. Wow. So that was last week and a couple of weeks back as well. So I wouldn't bet on them for attacking returns. Obviously, someone who's a lot of people have had has been Mopai. He's 2.4% owned now, and I think people are probably getting rid of him because, I don't know, he's off form. He's got 1, 2, 4, 2 and 0 in the last 5 weeks, and he's been dropped for Murray of all people. So, and Murray actually played really bad in that game. Yeah. So, is he dropped or is he just out of favour? Was it rest? Like, I would see Murray starting again. Like, why not? Because he played so well. So, I think if you own Mopai, with their fixtures being a little bit mixed, it might be time to move on. Obviously, Watford at home this week looks like a good fixture on paper, but Watford have been good. Sheffield United away is not looking good for goals. Crystal Palace don't often let much in either. So, I think Mopai needs to go.
It's a strange one because they had that really good block of fixtures, didn't they? And a lot of people were jumping onto them. I nearly did as well, looking at just basically how good their fixtures looked, and they had a bit of form at that time, but they've really failed to deliver. Do you think they're in a bit of a threat when it comes to relegation, or do you think they've just got enough quality just to avoid it?
1 clean sheet in 11 weeks doesn't
not good, is it?
Sound good for since week 11, sorry. Doesn't sound good for keeping goals out or keeping much getting wins. I suppose you need to keep clean sheets really. And their strikers aren't doing much. I've got down here, there's no one really else to mention because I've got Trossard at XG of 0.61 who's not really doing anything. Gross of an XG of 0.2. I mean, who else is there attacking and creative wise to even mention? Like, Moy's been doing okay, but nothing really to write home about. So I think we just struggle to see where the points going to come from, and just from them in general, and even just picking up any wins. So I think relegation is looming. It's probably another battle for them.
Well, they're only 2 points outside the bottom 3, and I mean their defence is really getting pummeled. I think their West Ham game was the second time in 2 games they conceded 3. I think they conceded 3 the game before that as well. So I think Watford are going to come up there after throwing away that game at the weekend, and probably look to bounce back. And I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up points. And I think Watford are one of the teams that are only 2 points behind them. So it could be a good game. This. I was having a look at their numbers, right? So Watford have scored 4 goals in their last 2 away games, averaging 2. So it's not like they're going to be shot shy on the road. So I would expect them to ruin Brighton's clean sheets. And they're looking, I mean, for a team that's in the bottom 3, they've actually kept 2 clean sheets on the road in the last 7, which when you say Brighton have only kept 1 clean sheet since Gameweek 11, that's actually not a bad number. So I'd expect Watford to probably win this one. Deeney's sort of continued his form recently with that assist at the weekend. I think Pereira put it away. So Deeney's had 4 big chances in the last 4 games with an XG of 2.6. He's had the second most big chances and expected goals for all strikers under 7 million. He's actually outperformed Ings, and this is over the last 4 game weeks. Admittedly, Ings had a couple of tricky games and he's played, but that's sort of like an averaged out stat. So he's done well when he's played. The other one to highlight probably as another cheapie, going back to the Kelly replacements, is Messina. So he's 4.3 million. He started the last 4. He obviously got the goal against Everton, which sort of like brought him to my attention a little bit more. The 2 clean sheets, 0.2% ownership, so mega differential. 1 key pass, 2 shots, and I think it was 2 shots in the box for him as well. 2 touches in the box as well. So he showed good promise getting forward, and it could be one to look at. Again, though, I feel like their fixtures aren't there for quite the right backing for a Kelly replacement, because after Brighton away, they've got Man United away, Liverpool, Palace. Then I think it's Leicester after that. So the fixtures aren't the best, but he could be an interesting differential.
I'll be worried about him being just benched at any point. I just don't. Even though he started last 4, I'm not sure he's nailed, sort of thing. So, and Deeney as well. You've had history of him being unpredictable for you. And do they play in 28? I think they do. So, if you've gone to Dini, I think you probably keep him because he can probably score in any game. But clean sheet wise, I'm not sure about Messina.
No. I think they've actually got Liverpool coming to them in game week 28, so it's not even like it's a good fixture for them in that week. So wouldn't be loading up on them. All right, Sheffield United. Let's talk about them a little bit and start because Bournemouth, I've really got not a lot to say. So, I kind of want to talk a bit about Lundstrom. Obviously, Wilder came out after the game and said how well John had reacted to having learnt he'd sort of lost his place, and he showed good commitment when he came on against Palace. But from a fantasy point of view, I mean, it sounds like now he's pretty much not guaranteed that place.
Well, that he learnt he lost his place is the key there, right? So it's like, I don't know. I can't see him. They bought Sanderberg for whatever it was, 20 odd million, and everyone thought he probably wouldn't play in Lundstrom's position, but he did straight away. Came in straight away, and Lundstrom was benched for the second week in a row, even before Berg was there. So, I think his time's over. The Lord has vanished, I suppose. But his 45% ownership is probably going to start dwindling. Yeah. And I think he's due to sort of drop tonight. So if you can sell him for possibly one of the other Sheffield United defenders or something like that, I think it's probably time to move on. If you can keep him, just test one more week to see if he comes in, then do it. I would. I think I'm keeping him just to see one more week if he's definitely out. But the 2 games before the last 2 weeks, he was shipped off at 60 plus minutes as well. So all the signs have been there, and I think he's not safe to start anymore either because he will come off the bench as you've seen the last 2 weeks. So if we can't start him, then like I said, possibly time to move on. So the question is really, do we still need their defence? And I would assume yes, with three home games. Other than that blank in 28 in a row against Bournemouth, Brighton and Norwich, and then Newcastle after that, those are great fixtures, right? And you expect some clean sheets. They kept a clean sheet last week. I mean, I didn't own, I own Lundstrom, but lots of people who've been wildcarding have 2, possibly 3 of their defence. And with me not having Lundstrom on, not getting that clean sheet, I've got 3 or no clean sheet from them at all, and that's just massive for the rank. Obviously, the lower ones other than Lundstrom are low owned, but people are on it now. So, so Lundstrom, Sheffield United replacements. I'm looking within Sheffield United here. Obviously, the popular pick seems to be Baldock at 5.1 million. But Stevens, however, has much better stats. Okay, so Stevens versus Baldock in the last few weeks. Stevens is 5.1 as well. By the way. So shots 2 versus 1 for Stevens versus Baldock. XG of 0.49 versus 0.05. Wow, so Baldock hasn't even got 0.1. An XA of 0.59 versus 0.12. So again, Stevens is well ahead. Big chances 1 versus 0. Key passes 4 versus 0. And big chances created 1 versus 0. So Stevens ahead in literally everything. And I think he's lower owned as well. So I think Stevens is the one to go for. But of the 4.5 million central defenders, Egan actually has the best attacking stats. Okay. Rather than Basham, as you mentioned earlier, he has 3 shots and 1 big chance, and Basham and O'Connell have 0. So, Egan seems to be the one rather than Basham and O'Connell.
So what's your plan then? Because IQ, I've got double Liverpool defence. I've been playing 3-4-3 for a while, and I've obviously got Stevens already wedged between the 2 of them. So but I want to take advantage of these fixtures. I'm not keen to take out Pope. Are you thinking about switching back to a 4-4-2 like me?
Well, this week I've already done my transfer, so I'm going to have to go without again this week.
You're going to be irritated watching that game and all those Sheffield United clean sheets coming in. If they come in.
I know, obviously, but I don't know if there's much I can do about it. I don't want to take a hit for them, really, because I'd have to get a clean sheet just to pretty much break even or get plus 2 points, and I don't think it's worth it. So Lundstrom is on his way out just to be able to get a better bench for 28. Really, probably next week. That's my goal. But then again, do I want to bring in one of their players just to have to bench them the week after? Don't know. That is an issue. I think my plan was maybe to just ignore them. Annoyingly, I think I have to at this point. A lot of people are saying wildcard just to get them in, but I don't think that's particularly the right answer.
I was going to say on top of that as well, I know Lundstrom came on, but there's nothing definite that says he's been fully sort of replaced yet. For all we know, he could come back in and play this one and come off at 60 for Berg again, yeah. So it's a difficult one. I'd imagine, like you say, he's going to have a lot of transfers out this week and drop. But he's been playing. Is he really just dropped straight from the squad after has Berg outperformed him in one game? I know he was dropped a little bit before that and rotated out of a few games. But it would be sort of a very FPL thing that he comes back in for this one, plays and does well. He did score, I think, didn't he, against Bournemouth earlier in the season? Or maybe I can't know, on the first game week. No, maybe he just played, actually, and everyone was excited because he was 4 million. But at the moment, he's last on my bench. But I do think I want to start taking advantage of this Sheffield United run of good fixtures, and I don't mind benching him or a Sheffield United player in game week 28. Because how many players do you
nor
have?
do I really, to be fair. Sorry,
I was going to say, how many do you have sort of who are going to be blanking in 28?
I think I've got, who is it, Lundstrom. I can't remember who else blanks now.
Man
Grealish.
City as well.
Yeah, and then obviously the 2 cities. So yeah, I've got 4 right now. And obviously I only now seem to have Rico as a bench player who plays, and his fixtures are terrible over that run. So I need to start. If I, change Lundstrom to another Sheffield United defender, I'm still have the same problem. Yeah. So it's not ideal for me. No. And I want to keep Grealish, and I'd like to obviously keep at least one of the City players. So it's a worry.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's especially tricky. Like, we'll get onto City in a second because I've not got a lot to say about Bournemouth, but it's a shame that Sheffield United and Man City have like a decent game this week, but sort of after that, especially for Man City, you might be thinking about moving them on, or it's a lot of money to be tied up on the bench even just for one game week. So yeah, it's a tricky one.
Well, I don't think De Bruyne will go anywhere, but Mahrez that moves on, I think. On
the Bournemouth side of things, very quickly before we move on, so Bournemouth have now lost 6 of their last 7 away games, and they failed to score in 3 of their last 3 away games. And they've only had 1 clean sheet on the road, I think, in their last 4 games, and maybe it's 2 in 10. So it's not like they've been doing very well. So I would expect that Sheffield United clean sheet. And it feels such a shame because last season we were getting quite excited about, and I've said it lots of times actually, it's just quite excited to talk about Bournemouth players from an FPL point of view. But yeah, Billing is the highest point scorer in the last 4 game weeks with 15, and that was only because of his 10-point haul he got in the game week just gone against Villa. So it's been real chalk and cheese compared to last season for them. There's nothing really to get excited about.
I would like to start Rico as well in this game actually. Just because Sheffield United's attacking potential is not that high. Their XG has been 4.69 and they've only scored 3, which is 16th overall the last 4 weeks. So they've had sort of tough-ish opponents, I suppose. But Rico, I can see a 0-0 here, honestly.
Okay.
At the same time, I would have no idea who to place Rico in my team. So yeah, if anyone misses out, I'd happily have Rico come off the bench, I think, this week.
I'm just getting fed up this season of having to make defender transfers. Perhaps when we do the questions later and you're answering one, I'll figure out how many defensive transfers this week. But like, I looked at my team then, I just surprised myself, like, I haven't got Rico at the moment. I feel like he's been in and out of my team. So's O'Connell, so's Kelly. I've had so many little like run-of-the-mill 4.5 or lower defenders this season transfer him in or out, and it's just like, it's killed my exciting transfers. All right. Let's talk about Man City because they're like the fun fixture this game week, and I think if you hit a Man City captaincy right this game week and they have a big score, which I think they will because West Ham look woeful, you're going to be sitting on like a big green arrow for a whole week.
Well, I mean, let's just wait for a second and think.
All right.
West Ham against Chelsea, when everyone was like, "Oh, West Ham are awful," and then West Ham beat Chelsea 1-0 when Chelsea were really, really good.
Yeah.
When they were smashing teams, I would actually love that this week because so many people are going to have Aguero and they're going to be captaining him, and just a 0-0, that would be quality.
Would you? All right. So if you had Aguero this week, would you captain him over Salah? Because I don't think I would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's okay, Aguero's stats last 4 weeks, right? XG of 4.17, which is first overall of the whole game. Big chances 7, which is first of the whole game. Shots 20, first of the whole game. XA of 1.0. So all the stats that matter. He's for goals. He's right on top and well ahead. And it just seems like, he missed something like 4 big chances in the game against Spurs. So and he should have had a haul. Mahrez obviously should have had an assist haul. So I think he's clearly the most obvious captain choice. And he actually has a bookies anytime scorer odd of 73%, which I think is the highest we've seen all season for anyone. And the next closest this week is Jesus on 59%. So that just shows you that like Aguero is odds on to be a massive haul this week. And I don't think I could get him because I would have to take a -8 to get him now. So I'm hoping Mahrez and De Bruyne can sort of match him. But I think if you can get Aguero this week, I think you should.
So you've not had any thoughts this week of just going for it, going triple Man City, getting Vardy out and bringing Aguero in?
No, I can't take a -8 for it.
Okay.
That's too much, I think. Even though he could haul and he could wipe out the -8, but no, not for me. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting. I have been thinking, I've been getting a bit sick of Maddison, so I've only had him I think I've only had him since the beginning of January, so I've only had him 4 game weeks, I think. And he got an 11 point on the first game week I got him, but since then he's blank. So Maddison and Vardy has obviously been out of form since he's become another dad again, his new baby. And I don't really fancy that Wolves away game for Leicester. So I had been toying with the idea of doing Vardy and Maddison for Aguero and maybe Traore as like a little 4-point hit this week, but not captaining him just because I'd be like worried about the benching and that would really irritate me. But Pep does love starting him at home. Well,
I suppose benching is possible, isn't it? But then again, Sterling is injured now. But at the same time, Jesus hasn't started for since the start or end of January. So middle of January I think it is. So he might be possibly, if he benches Jesus again, that'd be like about a month without starting him. And that seems sort of unrealistic. So you think Jesus is probably going to play, but does Aguero play with him? That's the question.
And they've got Champions League, haven't they? Midweek after. Is that right?
Yes, they do.
That's something to consider as well.
Which is obviously a huge game against Real Madrid, I think it is. So.
I'd expect.
Aguero could be benched, actually, having thought about that. Yeah, good point.
So, and I also think, I know Sane seems like there's been pictures of him training, isn't there? But we don't know quite yet when he's going to come back. But it's meant to be fairly soon, within the next month. But
I would assume it's not this week, but possibly after Champions League.
That could make things quite exciting, because with Sterling out, Sane would be like a nicely priced differential as we head into the end of the season. I know it's a bit early to be talking about him, but you're right about.
But just
sorry, go.
I think like with Laporte, who he bought back for a game and then sort of got kind of injured again. Like, is Sane going to do that? How long? That's sort of what happened with Mendy as well. Mendy came back for a game, has kind of got injured again. Like, so is that going to happen with Sane? Not sure. Is he going to be? He's probably going to be brought back in for a game and then given a few rests and sort of that. So I don't think he's going to be a good pick for a while. But he might play some minutes.
No, I know, it's a strange one. I've been looking at lots of Man City players ahead of this week. So Bernardo Silva was another one. He's only had 9 goal involvements this season, and 4 of them came in like the space of 2 game weeks. One where he got that massive haul earlier in the season. I think he got like 4. He had 3. Was it 3 goals and 1 assist in that game? I think he did some work. Yeah. So it's not like he's been worth having. But I think if you're going to get on Man City for this game, it's got to be Mahrez, KDB, or Aguero. And yeah, I'm really tempted. Because, like I said, I've got to do something. Maddison's not giving me much, and Vardy's been pretty out of form, and it feels like there's a good fixture here where I could potentially captain Aguero. Unlikely though it may be, but he's certainly, I certainly back him to beat West Ham quite comfortably.
Well, I mean, Aguero didn't play in 24. He didn't start it, so he's only started the last game and only played 63 minutes in it in 25. So, but they did have a red card, didn't they? Is that why he went? Yeah, that's why he went off. So, yeah, I'm not going to say he's due a rest because of the Champions League, but you never know with Pep. He scored 5 goals and then got benched the next week. So, there's that. But yeah, so Sterling seems to be out for 2 to 3 weeks, and he's obviously been woefully in form. He's been ruining Mahrez's output because of missing terrible chances, or good chances, sorry. But yeah, okay, so Mahrez, I mean, a lot of people talking about bringing him in for this game. I think it might be good. We can't rule out him being benched or rotated for Bernardo, but I assume the front three is going to be Mahrez, Aguero and Jesus. I think that will be the front three.
Okay.
Yeah. Just I don't know. Just it's happened before, so hopefully it happens again. So okay, the two big wins when Sterling was benched as well, when Mahrez obviously played, was Mahrez got a 15 and a 17 pointer in those two big games. So Sterling being out could be good news for Mahrez owners and potential buyers. Obviously, he's only blanked twice all season when playing 90 minutes, right? So his other 90-minute returns have been 14, 15, 10, 10, 8, 6, 5, and 17. So he's only blanked 2 times otherwise than that in those 90-minute games. So that's really
that
big.
Is good.
I just hope he plays. I mean, his XG is 0.84, which isn't massive, but his XA is 1.31, 8 shots, 7 key passes, 1 big chance, 2 big chances created, 2 goals, 1 assist, 23 points last 4 weeks. So yeah, I just think that there could be another big haul in him, and I'm even sort of tempted to captain him.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, the bench worry is still there. They're just like with Mahrez every week. But
well, he's one I've looked at as well as another option just for Maddison, because Maddison's sort of like looking at me like he wants to be transferred out. So yeah, it could be Mahrez I go to. Like you say, the stats are good, but it's just that the constant worry about, is he going to, like all the City players, is he going to start?
I just think he's been their best player recently. I don't know really why he gets subbed off sometimes, because I think he has been their best player, because he should have had hauls like every week so far.
Yeah.
And it's just his teammates have just been fluffing up. I mean, Sterling must have like nude pictures of Pep or something to be starting these games, because he's been terrible. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, Mahrez, I think he looks good for this game, and I just pray he starts, really.
Yeah. On the West Ham side of things, I just think they're going to be rocking up to the Etihad just looking for a beating there. So West Ham lost their last 3 away games, and Man City have scored at least 2 in 7 of their last 8 home games. So I think it's going to be difficult for them to keep them out or even keep the score down. And some of the goals they conceded against Brighton at the weekend, man, they were just comical, weren't they? Fabianski knocking it on Ogbonna's head, and that one where like the 2 centre-backs just got mixed up and he had a little diving header and Gross got in and just bundled it in. Yeah, it was just awful. I mean, fair play to all the Snodgrass owners, because to get a haul like that off those 2 deflected shots, which otherwise might have been going just wide or saved or whatever. So 18-point haul for them, I think it was. He had 3 shots in that game, 2 of those deflected goals, 2 big chances, 2 key passes. He's only owned by 1.1%, so it's massive differential. He's actually looked fairly decent as far as West Ham players go. So he's had 4 shots in the box in the last 4, and 3 big chances in the last 4. Is the second most of all players under 7 million behind Traore. So yeah, his numbers have been quite good, but the fixtures for West Ham are pretty poor on the next 5. So they've got Man City and Liverpool away back to back, which is as bad as you can get in terms of defensive front. Then you got Southampton, who've been playing well recently. Arsenal away, it's probably their easiest fixture in the next 5, and then they've got Wolves at home, because, well, I think Arsenal will just give them chances. That's what I mean by that. Whereas,
they've had 2 clean sheets in a row.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. Yeah, I think they should have conceded against Burnley, though, man. Some of the chances Burnley missed in that game.
True.
Yeah, but that's true. Arteta has made them a bit more compact. But yeah, on the West Ham side, I think I can't really recommend anyone else. Snodgrass is okay as a budget option, but their fixtures are a bit like meh.
Yeah, I think if you don't have Traore, I think now's the time to probably move on from Snoddy to someone like Traore. But Traore's like he had a dislocated shoulder, so who knows if he's going to play next game.
Yeah,
that is a thing just for you, because you're thinking about bringing him in.
I've been looking at it. Obviously, I watched him walk off the pitch holding his shoulders. The thing is, he's got such big shoulders. Like no one can massage it enough to work out what's going on in there.
It's true. Nobody's hands are big enough.
Hands are big enough. That should be the title of the show, actually. Just making that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do some wrapping up of our famous bits. Before we get onto the questions, because we got quite a few this evening. We'll get through some of the best ones. Should we just talk about captaincy then? Because it sounds like we've already mentioned that a little bit.
So for me, if I don't go for Mahrez or KDB, I think it'll probably has to go on Salah. Norwich away is still a great fixture, and he is on fire at the moment. So it's hard to look past him. Even with that West Ham home game, it's safety, but safety's been doing really well lately. So like Salah at the moment.
Yeah, to be honest, I think Salah as well. Even if I bring in Aguero, I just like the idea of Salah up against that Norwich defence. And I probably should have captained this weekend, but I just found Trent's points look good, but now Salah's points look even better. So yeah, I'm going to stick there. Do we know if Mane's going to be back yet for that one? Or do you think it's still a bit early? It was penciled in for around.
I think
then,
it was supposed to be. Yeah, so Mane's down to like 20% ownership now. Wow. So I think anyone who's kept him should be if he starts in this one should be quids in. But I'm even thinking about bringing Mane in eventually to just possibly get rid of Robertson because his potential for goals and his ownership has made him so appealing.
Made him a juicy prospect, hasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and with Mahrez blanking, like that sort of area is open for me.
Yeah. Right then, with regards to Cougar Cup pick, because Game Week 26 is over a week, should we pick one for each weekend? Because it'd be make each game week more fun.
Well, I have not even prepared that at all, but okay.
We're doing things on the fly.
You could have told me that.
Yeah, I just told you just now.
All right, sure. Go on then.
All right, I'm going to say... I don't want to pick a Watford player because I've been looking at them sort of like so often pick players. So I'm going to go Sheffield United and I'm going to pick Henderson in goal. I think he's still under 15%, Kieran.
Yeah, he probably is. Okay, so I'll go with DCL, the obvious one
it's quite obvious
for Everton. But yeah, he's under 15%. So, and then the end of the week. Okay, so I had two.
Henderson's 14.9. Love it. Okay, yeah. Who's the other one?
So I'm going to go with the guy who just scored a rocket against Man City, Steven Bergwijn. Against Villa away.
Why is everyone banging on about that being such a great goal?
Yeah, it was a good goal.
Rubbish.
That touch and shot was great.
So Sky Sports.
What are you talking about?
Like Sky Sports Hyperbole. Did you see like the YouTube thumbnails? Like sensational Bergwijn goal. It wasn't sensational. It's like a little bobbly shot from the edge of the box. Anyway,
about as negative as I am.
Yeah, maybe, but I didn't think it was a good goal. It's the sort of goal people score when they're playing total football headers and volleys down the park.
Exactly. Total football. There you go.
Okay. Well, anyway, all right.
But yeah. I think he's made an impression, and I think he'll start again, and I think he'll just continue because Villa can't defend. So,
all right, okay, all right. Any more to add on that?
Well, what's your second one?
I was going to say Snodgrass. Now, I'll tell you what. After slagging him off, even though it's not going to happen, I'm going to say Bernardo Silva, just because.
Well, it has to be second part of the week, doesn't it? That's what you said.
Yeah, sorry, I meant we do.
So someone from Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, Newcastle.
Oh, I see.
Liverpool.
Okay. Oh, all right. I know how I'm going to do. I'm going to do Lascelles because I mentioned him earlier. Yeah, just why not? Captaincy Lascelles pick.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right. Cleans and transfers. Should we just do clean sheets for this week, and then I can remember?
Everton, hopefully. City, and then Liverpool are my three guesses.
Well, I mean, there's only. Oh, right, so you're doing both. Okay. I'll just say that it's probably going to be... I think Watford are going to keep one away against Brighton. I also think Bournemouth are going to lose... Sheffield United are going to keep one against Bournemouth. So, yeah, those two. Yeah. All right. Getting a bit distracted because I'm excited to do the questions.
Transfers. I've done Tammy to Jimenez already. And
You've gone early.
Tempted.
You've gone early, Kieran.
Yeah, well, there was none of my players playing in the... FA Cups, so I just went for it because why not? Because they were both dropping. So yeah. What happens if he gets
injured? It's like a week and a bit to wait.
I don't care at this point. I wanted to get him in.
All right. Okay. Let's get to the questions. We had quite a few in. So Oscar Hoyes sent one in on Twitter and said, which Sheffield United defender to go for under 5 million? We've sort of answered that one, really. So it
was Egan.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you there from looking at the stats, yeah. We had a question in from Jordan W, who said, should we look at Son? I mean, what did you think of him when he played in that game against City? I thought he looked okay, but do you still trust him in that Mourinho side? Or do you trust him in that Mourinho side? Still trust him?
Not really. He took his goal well.
Deflection again.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's done enough to merit himself. He is getting returns, but I don't think he's done enough to be nailed in all of our teams or anything. But differential wise, you can't really get much better than Son. No. So, but I kind of prefer Bergwijn, I think, at the moment.
Oh, do you? Okay.
yeah, so I think he's just going to go for strength, that guy. So cheaper and getting goals, I guess. Assuming he carries on, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's an interesting one. Son's obviously got these 2 goals in these back-to-back fixtures, and their fixtures are they're okay actually. So the Aston Villa away game, Chelsea away, Wolves at home, and Burnley away. They're not a bad run of fixtures for him. So yeah, it's interesting that you quite like Bergwijn. Was it just the performance at the weekend that sort of turned you onto him?
Yeah, well, he's obviously been a good player in Champions League in the past and stuff. So for PSV, so yeah, I think with that introduction of getting a winner, the first goal against City is obviously going to make Mourinho love him. So yeah, I can see him carrying on the side, and he should do well.
Yeah, okay. We had a good question in from Dan Parsons, Toothless Gibbon on Twitter, which you replied to on Twitter, said this is going to be divided. So here's a more general question: is it a bad idea to play forwards that play against your double defence? Genuine question. I'm discussing on Twitter. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, we were talking about it quite a lot on the week previous on Twitter, whereas I didn't think I should play Ings against my double Liverpool defence just because I was limiting my points returns, right? Yeah. But then at the same time, he was saying that surely you just want to have points. If Ings is going to get the goal, you may as well have him on the bench and in your starting 11 to just get the points. But in the end, I had to play Ings just because Lundstram wasn't an option. But I think if you have an alternative option for if you're playing against double defence, then I think you would go for that alternative option rather than limiting the points. But you just, at the end of the day, I suppose you just got to go for the ones that you think are going to score better, I suppose, and just deal with a double defence wipeout possibly.
Yeah, I think I'd feel more irritated if I bench my striker, like my informed striker, for like a midfielder who's going to get 2 points, and then my striker scored. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I've always been of the opinion that I'll just play my best players all the time and just see what comes out. Perhaps that's the wrong way to look at it, but I mean, yeah, the Ings up against the double Liverpool defence was probably a good example. Like Ings was in good form, as were Liverpool. So I'm just going to play all of my best players rather than who was my other option, Nakamba.
But at the same time, assuming Lundstram was nailed and still a starter, playing Lundstram, who got the 6, over Ings, who obviously blanked, you're winning on that side. Yeah, so but if it's a good alternative who is going to have a good fixture and is a good chance of getting points, then I think that makes sense.
Tell you what, we also had this conversation, and we didn't do it, earlier in the season when Rashford was going to be playing up against Trent and Robertson when United were going to go to Anfield, and we had that decision taken out of our hands by just his injury. But at that point, you and I were both going to play Rashford.
Yeah, maybe it's a price point as well then, just because you see that Danny Ings is 6-ish, and Rashford is towards 10. Yeah. You think you can't bench the premium player, can you? So, yeah,
I guess it's all circumstantial, isn't it? Because it depends a lot on who your bench player is, and I'm sure a lot of people would have gone into this weekend thinking, "Oh, Lundstram's going to outscore Ings away at Palace over away at Liverpool," and of course he didn't, because he only came on and got that 1 point. So. Yeah, so in the end, the best scenario happened of Ings blanking and the double clean sheet happened. So it was sort of lucky and it didn't really matter in the end. But I think either way works, to be honest. I don't think there's a clear-cut answer for it. No, I agree. We also, so on Twitter on YouTube we had a question in from Davra the Legend, who loves sending us in a question, said, is the Vardy party now over? Well, he thinks it's been over for a while. Who do you see as replacements for him? I mean, I sort of think that once new dad Vardy, I'm not sure what baby number this is now for Big J, but I think once he's sort of got used to the sleeping bag again, Jamie's going to have a cracking end to the season. It's just timing, like getting rid of him and bringing him back in, right? Because he's definitely been affected, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, he's not scored. So 28 onwards, I think if you can bring him back in, if you do want to get rid, then his 28 onwards to 33 is great. So, I'm not in the position to get rid, but I think, Aguero, as you said earlier, is a good replacement. Other than that, I'm not really sure. Maybe a Garlo. Is that stupid?
But he's coming at a nice price point, to be fair, 6.5.
He has.
I think he might play some games, and Martial might play back on the left.
I can see that happening for sure. I think it's Aguero or Aubameyang, and that's really the only alternatives for Vardy. Or you go down to Jimenez, Tammy, that sort of area, Ings, if you don't have them already.
I'll tell you what, you and I usually say boo to Firmino, but since the double game week and then obviously playing well against Southampton, he's like in the Vardy's price point, and Liverpool's fixtures are really good. So yeah, if he likes scoring in away games, and they've got Norwich up next, one of the worst defences in the league. I'm already on triple Liverpool, but if you're looking to get rid of Vardy for someone with some good fixtures and a similar price, then Firmino could be the one. It is a bad thing that he hasn't scored at home this season because
he will do eventually. It won't last.
Yeah, you can't sort of win the league and score as many goals as they do, and you have your main central striker not scoring at home games.
Well, he still got 3 assists at home last week, so
it's still worth a captain.
Is that really an issue? Yeah.
No, all right. I think that probably wraps up all of the best of the questions for this week. It feels weird doing a short show. Maybe some people
like it. I mean, it wasn't that short in the end.
Wasn't that short. Maybe some people comment and say whether they like it more than a normal show. All right, so we're going to be back next week, and we'll preview the second half of Gameweek 26. Obviously, with our points in the middle, stats, and all that jazz. Until next week, Kieran, is there any more you want to add?
No, that's it for me.
That's it from you. Well, that's it from me as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll speak to you in a week's time. Bye now.
Bye.